What's going on, y'all? What it is. So let's go ahead and slide on these topics. And the first thing I want to discuss is this situation that's going on with Nick Reiner. We are all aware that he deleted his parents over the weekend in such a hostile fashion, and he made his first court appearance yesterday, and he basically only spoke once, and that was to answer the judge when the judge asked him to confirm he was waiving his right to a speedy arraignment. And he's being held without bond, and his next court date is scheduled for January the 7th, 2026, right? Now, this vile, hostile, and uncalled for incident has caused a lot of chit chatter all over social media because a lot of people basically, of course, are disheartened by the fact that Rob and his wife lost their lives that way. But then a lot of people are looking at President Trump like, why did you have to respond in that fashion? Basically shooting the man down because he had some not so nice things to say about you. You have the left calling him out on that BS, and some members on the right, but a lot of people on the right are standing by Trump, and they're alluding to the fact that, hey, this man and Rob has said some nasty things about Trump, so it was well warranted. He had it coming. Now, it's being reported that the deletion penalty is on the table if Nick is convicted of deleting both of his parents, right? But the one thing that definitely snatched my attention is who Nick actually hired to represent him. And the first thing that came to my mind is, this dude don't got no money. How is he able to afford a big time powerhouse of a lawyer in Alan Jackson? Like, let's just keep it real, right? Who is the machine behind this? Who is funding Nick's lawyer? Because of course, let me reiterate, he does not have the money to do this. To be defended to the highest magnitude that he would need to be defended to could cost up to $2 million. We're dealing with Alan Jackson here, a renowned lawyer. And a lot of people are calling out Alan for even taking on this particular case as well. But you want to know what's interesting about all of this, y'all? The mere fact that Rob was actually working on a docuseries exposing Trump and Vladimir Putin. Now, I'm not trying to push no kind of conspiracy theory here. I'm just giving you what is public knowledge here, because Rob Reiner actually spoke about this himself. And from what I'm hearing behind the scenes, the project was damn near done. And all they were doing at this particular point is just tightening up a few little things here and there, and they were about to give it the green light. But what I want to do right here is play you guys a couple of clips. It's going to involve Rob talking about creating this documentary and things of that nature. And then it's going to be a couple of people talking about this situation extensively. And then I'll be back.
I'm Rob Reiner, and America, we've got a problem. We've been attacked by a foreign enemy power, and our president refuses to defend us. Donald Trump is meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin one-on-one in a closed-door meeting with no aides present and no record of what will be said. Putin's government attacked our democracy by interfering in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump become president. That is not in dispute. It has been verified by all U.S. intelligence agencies, the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee, and the U.S. Justice Department. Trump and his campaign's conspiracy with Russia is the subject of a federal investigation. And yet Donald Trump refuses to meet with Robert Mueller, the prosecutor leading that investigation. Trump said he'd meet with anyone. He told us, "I'll speak to anybody." But now he's backing out. If he has nothing to hide, why won't he sit down and answer Mueller's questions? What's he afraid of? In light of his meeting with Putin, it's more imperative than ever that we get that truth. Join me in demanding that Trump meet with Mueller and answer his questions.
Y'all, the further into 2025 we get, the harder and harder it is for me to not go full on tinfoil hat wearing crazy.
I'm working on a project called The Spy and the Asset. And it's all about Putin and Trump, and it takes them from their childhoods up to the point where they cross, and what happens to these two, and what happens to democracy as a result of this convergence. And I'm working with a really great writer named Ward Perry on it, who used to work for The Guardian, and really great writer.
Never say that this happened without substantive proof. But what I will say is this, as a person that is a student of history and that has a pattern recognition born of so many neurodivergencies that create the perfect Venn diagram that would make Hercule Poirot and Benoit Blanc envious. The timing on this is sus as hell.
There's a conspiracy theory brewing about Rob Reiner's passing, and so I'm going to tell you everything I have learned about it. So if you didn't know, Rob Reiner and his wife were found dead. Authorities have their son Nick in custody right now. Rob Reiner is a very famous filmmaker and actor. It's a great loss to the filmmaking community. He was also very politically outspoken and especially liked to criticize Donald Trump. And Trump has posted this weird nonsense about Reiner's death. Pause to read. In 2021, Reiner said he was working on a docuseries that was detailing the relationship between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin of Russia. He wanted to examine their relationship and how it was affecting politics and government in America. The final piece of the conspiracy theory puzzle comes from somebody who, I'm going to post a screenshot of their video. They were doing a search on Google Trends for Nick Reiner, and they found that there was this weird spike in one specific country in November of searches for Nick Reiner. Otherwise, there's basically 0 searches for him. I, of course, wanted to see for myself because that's pretty strange. So I went onto Google Trends, I searched up his name, and I searched in that specific country, and there was a weird spike in November. I also changed the search results to look at other countries and no spikes anywhere else. So to put the whole puzzle together, and this is just a conspiracy theory, this isn't based on fact, these aren't my personal opinions or beliefs, and I guess this is for entertainment purposes, although I don't like to say that word when somebody tragically died, but I don't want any phone calls or visits at my door. So somebody didn't like the fact that Rob Reiner had been digging around in Donald Trump and Putin's relationship and contacted somebody in this other country to take care of the problem and pin it on somebody else. I don't know if all that's true. Obviously, we'll never know.
All right, so we just heard and witnessed all of that. And listen, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just reporting what is public knowledge here. So I'm not siding with anyone politically here. But at the end of the day, we have a man that lost his life along with his wife. And then when you take into account that Rob was on the cusp of putting the finishing touches on this documentary, and then all of a sudden, right, he gets deleted along with his wife. And then on top of that, when their son Nick gets arrested for committing this heinous crime, he actually reaches out to Alan Jackson for defense. Let me say this one more again, y'all. He reaches out to the attorney, Alan Jackson, and Alan Jackson takes the job. This is not no court-appointed lawyer, although I have questions if he was handpicked and selected, because again, let me repose the question. I don't know if repose is a word, but it's a word today, right? So how does Nick get the money? Where is the funding coming from to obtain this high-quality lawyer? I mean, like, come on. Where does he get it from? Who is funding this? And listen, I'm not saying that Nick was hired to do this to his parents. I'm not trying to push the narrative that somebody else could have did it and just use Nick as the fall guy, right? Because of his tumultuous relationship with his parents. And listen, y'all, let me just say this. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm not saying that it's factual, but Nick could possibly get off given his mental health history. He could possibly get off of this. You know what I'm saying? And they probably know that. And that's why Alan Jackson was selected to actually defend him. Now, I want to remind my audience that these are just questions. These are just questions. It could very well be true that Nick just snapped and took his parents out for whatever reason, right? We know that there is a well-documented history of his struggles with drugs and also the disdain that he had for his parents because he felt neglected, and particularly the disdain that he has for his father, Rob, because he felt like Rob neglected him as a child. So listen, again, Nick could have just did this out of anger. You know what I'm saying? But the questions that I'm asking, I just feel that they're valid questions. But anyway, I want to hear from you all. Feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Have a beautiful day.
Tough News TV. We out.